Does that make you want to come?
To CGS. I think the thing that is the most difficult for me is the getting there. That's the biggest hurdle in my mind.
I mean, like, you get on the highway, the cars are moving fast. You get on a train, you know who's steering that thing. Lots and lots of people on the sidewalk when you're walking to the hotel. Some of them probably are murderers. Are are those your kinds of fears, or what are the fears that come up for you about getting there? Central Jersey to New York, beware.
Hi, Jacob.
Hi, Kate. Fancy meeting you here.
So, what's up?
Well, I was at the Center for Group Studies training weekend this past weekend, and I didn't get the sense that you missed me adequately.
What told you that?
When I came in and you're like, "Oh, you're back," and me, yeah, no, I mean, it's a hard thing to navigate, right? When you were like, what did you say? Oh, I was so relaxed with you not here. That kind of gave me a hint.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's really an interesting thing of how the absence of you being in the background, not doing things I want you to do or helping is actually just, I feel calmer. I wonder if it's something that a lot of women can relate to.
The feeling calmer when their husband is away.
Yeah.
Maybe I should go more than 3 times a year.
Well, I don't know. There's less annoyance because I'm doing the same thing, you're just not there, but it's probably has a different impact. If you're just going to judge based on is it worth having your husband around if he annoys you, you'll probably pretty quickly get to life is much calmer without having a
It
husband
it's a good parallel to group also.
because say more.
Is your life more pleasant and relaxed if you're not in group?
Hmm.
Probably. I mean, certainly short term, probably.
But
So there's a choice when you're relating in a relationship with someone or when you're in a process of self-discovery to be uncomfortable, to be annoyed, to be confronted with other people's needs and desires that are different or opposed to yours.
like you're not actually working on something versus working on how to live with you or communicating with you when you're there and I'm annoyed.
Right. Yeah, I think a lot of people seek escapes from the challenges of life and especially relating to people, parents, partners, children, maybe friends to a lesser extent, coworkers, bosses, whatever. And to some extent, I think maybe we all need that to have escapes or, refugee places of refuge. So much of my work and what excites me is the image of the boxer sitting in the corner getting patched up, ready for another round in the ring. And I think most people's escapes, whether it's an affair or a hobby or just sort of zoning out, distancing, shutting down, or it could even be therapy experiences, are much less about, okay, how do we really get you back in the ring? Even, therapy even can sometimes not be
Hmm.
like, okay, how do we get you back in the ring? It's just like, yeah, support groups, you're right. You're right. Rather
Well, I
than,
think what most people do, they just like settle for for playing a certain role and a limited type of communication instead of thinking, how do I expand my ability to express myself or having a better time with this person, whether it's, your boss, your mom, your neighbor. They just settle for that's the only thing we talk about. That's how we have our communication. And then even in therapy settings, I think you're right. A lot of individual therapy or support groups, but I know less about support groups, but individual therapy will help you not get into the ring by saying, yes, those are your boundaries. Maybe you should stop talking to this person. There's the whole trend of like you just cut people off. Yeah, I think something that often is jarring for me is when I share something with you about another person and you say, well, just tell them that. And for me, it's no, it's not something we say in the unspoken contract of how we do our relationship. They like compromise their spontaneity and the depth of a relationship and the range of feelings with a specific person. And I think your goal is, how can I be myself and say what I want to say and be able to get out of whatever trouble it will get me into with any person?
Yes, I was associating to Elon Musk's ambition with, can't remember, his SpaceX. What's so cool about Musk is his vision is so expansive. Like his desire for what he wants to aim for. I don't just want to make a car company and be very successful and now I'll just play golf. Like, no, so I want that in a very personal, relational quality of life kind of way that I want. And this I think is a carryover from the spiritual quest of trying to become enlightened, to attain the ultimate state that a human can attain. So having that shift into this ideal of ultimate freedom of thought and potentially of speech as well, and ways being with whatever's happening with people. So I feel like, what I am unique and sometimes feel lonely about is my ambition for the relationships that I have, our relationship, and the experience working with patients, my work itself, friendships, parenting, family, being with my parents, that like my drive and ambition is, can I be and feel and tolerate and play with more than I could yesterday? And that really excites me, that ambition. And so that leads to a lot of creativity.
When you talk about it, I think what I hear is that you want with every person to meet behind the mask. Is like we're walking around with like the persona mask, and you want to be able to with everyone with in any given moment to be able to meet behind the mask. Now, I think the spiritual world or New Agey world, they talk about the same thing, only they imagine that behind the mask is just light and kindness and love. And you're want to meet behind the mask would like bring everything because you believe we all have everything, darkness and light and beauty and ugliness, fun and cringe.
Yeah. That's very well said. That's the ultimate ideal. And then the consolation prize would be at least to be able to be as much aware of what's behind my own mask as possible, even if I am respecting the limitations of the person I'm with. And that based on where we both are, I don't have a way of sharing more with them what's happening inside me and encouraging or empowering them to share what's inside them.
At some point in one of the videos we did, you were talking about like manipulation and how people will manipulate you very unconsciously to be in a certain way with them.
Mm-hmm.
So at least in that way, you respect where they're at and you don't try. Sometimes they just can't get to a different place, but you're not buying into it.
Right. I'm not. So if the manipulation really succeeds, then the other person not only plays by the unspoken rules and doesn't say the weird thing, but they also don't allow themselves to think it. They step into the role pretty fully of what the other person wants them to be.
Yeah.
Right. Now, I was just thinking that one of the things that I, of course, contend with is my unconscious desire to have this kind of connection or meeting. And, that's my wish to manipulate the other person, to like force them to be what I want them to be. And I was thinking of a really cool idea, pretty sure from Jung, from alchemy, that if you know where the darkness is, that knowledge is a different kind of light. So if you have an area that you can see and you're just, one level is you're just looking in the area that you can see, you're not even aware of the areas that you can't see. So that's very unconscious. The darkness is more dangerous in a way because you don't even know what you can't see. But once you become a little bit more aware of, oh, I know I can't see that. I know that's in my shadow. I know I'm unconscious of that. It's a different kind of light. You have you at least you're a little bit wiser because you know to be careful or respectful of this the parts that are unconscious in you.
Mhm.
And what I love about psychoanalysis and groups, as I've been exposed to them, is the constant invitation and encouragement towards what's in the darkness. Where is the darkness? What's not thinkable and what's not sayable in this space? And my experience has been being so delightfully inspired and refreshed by people giving voice to weird, bizarre, socially unacceptable, primitive, politically incorrect. This is why, as an aside, this is why we like comedians, stand-up comics, especially those that are dark and twisted and perverted and like we're like, oh my God, how does he even think that? Well, there's something so life-giving about inviting and allowing wait, how do you even think that stuff? And that's what I really come alive about and seek to bring into the spaces that I create or am a part of. But I was complaining to you in the course of the weekend that it felt like this group was much more about don't worry about the darkness rather than, well, what's there? What is the danger? What will happen? And I felt very lonely in the struggle to bring that and feeling like it was a struggle. It wasn't that I was really mostly carrying it by myself.
And then was there a happy ending?
The most happy ending was I deepened my ability to what we talked about, the consolation prize of like I cultivated these really wonderful dark fantasies of everyone in the group. Based on what they shared, I imagined what this like shadow role, like if they were taking what they're talking about, their pain points and what their vulnerabilities and their fears, and imagining a kind of from Dr. Jekyll to Mr. Hyde version of them. That was very satisfying for me. And then being able to give voice to some of that and my frustration, it did in the last part of the group bring forth more of that.
Mm.
It wasn't like a complete transformation so that it was like went from, not having fun to, oh, this is the best ever. But I felt satisfied on both of those accounts. Like I took care of myself. So even if it goes nowhere, I haven't been killed and shut off in this. I've actually deepened my own ability to be in this situation. And I felt some receptivity and affirmation. So yeah, I would say a pretty happy ending, but very different from what I experienced when I first came to these trainings.
So what was the value in your mind about this specific weekend?
One of the challenges that I most of the time embrace is I have a message and a vision, and how effectively can I inspire others to join in that vision or collaborate with it? And that is a really important practice and discipline versus I have my vision or whatever of what I believe in my perspective, and I keep trying the ways that don't work to bring people to my cause, let's say. So one of the big takeaways for me was feeling this process happening in me of I'm aware of where I am, I'm feeling the resistance or the tension, the dissonance, the that the other people are in a different place. I'm not giving up on where I am. I'm also not trying to dominate them, and then feeling something emerge from that. Like, I mean, the first step of it was this whole fantasy process that I didn't necessarily expect and really was energizing for me. So I went from a place of feeling discouraged and lonely and frustrated to, again, it's an example of staying in the ring, to then being with that and then feeling like, oh, wow, my inner world is very rich and fun and exciting. Like maybe this will become a novel or something. Like this, I have been energized and nourished from being confronted with this, regardless of where it goes now. And then also being able to be less lonely and feel more connected and more movement towards this. I went up a level in the ability to have a different perspective than most or everyone that's around you, and not be so completely discouraged because of that fact that you shut down or resign yourself or ghost or whatever, but also not try to impose it in a way that's not effective, but move into something new where there's more meeting ground. So that was actually very empowering and exciting for me. Does that make you want to come
to CGS? I think the thing that is the most difficult for me is the getting there. I think that's the biggest hurdle in my mind.
I mean, like, you get on the highway, the cars are moving fast. You get on a train, you know who's steering that thing. Lots and lots of people on the sidewalk when you're walking to the hotel. Some of them probably are murderers. Those your kinds of fears? Or what are the fears that come up for you about getting there? Central Jersey to New York, beware.
Yeah. I mean, Penn Station
Scary
is
place.
it's very scary. I imagine I'll get there and we'll just like go right back. I'll be just forget it.
Everyone will be coming out of the train and just stand there and sink back in. Yeah.
So yeah, I imagine that if there would have been just a car coming to pick me up and drop me off at the hotel, I would feel much better.
Why don't we do that?
It just stresses me out trying to figure out how to get to a place. My navigation skills are very poor, and it's just a scary thing for me to just try to figure out how to orient.
Because if you inevitably fail, you try to get somewhere, you fail, then what? Everyone's going to laugh at you and see how pathetic you are because you don't know how to
It's
get
like
there?
an
Or
experience of like, if imagine that you're trying to read, the letters are in English, you know the letters, and you should be able to do it as far as your cognitive, intellectual ability, just being a person trying to read this thing. It will make total sense that you're supposed to be able to do it, but you just can't. Everybody else know how to read it. You should be able to know how to read it. So there's something kind of like disorienting, stressful because you're supposed to. So what's happening in your brain that you can't read it? There's a shame element of everybody else can read this thing. Why can't I read it? So yeah, that's kind of the
right.
feeling.
No, I'm glad you mentioned the shame part. So built into that, implied is that in that fantasy is if I am incompetent and needy and like can't do the thing that people my age or whatever are supposed to be able to do, the other people will not be loving, caring, compassionate, patient, responsive. They won't say things like, look, like we all have struggles. I'm, happy to help you however you need or to whatever extent I can. And, we'll figure it out. Or let's say, look, it is really frustrating and irritating that that I need to like help you in this way. I'm not going to deny that it is burdensome or frustrating, and I'm still willing to be there and help because I started to get sensitive of, my allergy would be everyone rushing to say, oh, no, it's totally fine. And that like they're missing their meetings and they're going to hate you secretly. You can't trust it because they're just like totally suppressing the fact that it is an inconvenience. It is frustrating that here you are, you're supposed to be able to read and you can't. And like there is, of course, some imposition. So to me, it's very important that a caring response includes an awareness and acknowledgement that I'm not pretending that I woke up this morning with the hope of finding this illiterate woman in Penn Station and, teaching her to read instead of going to my basketball game that I had tickets for, So what I was objecting to over the weekend is it felt like people were doing that. They're just like, no, I exist to take care of people who are feeling humiliated and shameful and hurting. That's just what I live for. And I'm thrilled and honored to do it and have nothing else, no other desires or wants. The feeling, the thought of, I don't want to be in that space myself. I can't tolerate that emotional experience is based on not having been able to be in that place with someone else responding well. The idea is that if in your history you entered that state and the person you're with, mom, dad, whoever, was responsive in a way that felt good enough, then you would be able to enter that state. You would have a kind of confidence and faith that just like mom or grandma or dad or whoever was with me when I was, 2 years old and in this space or a baby or whatever, so too now if I enter this space and I don't know what to do, it won't be, I can handle it and someone will be there to help me. This is exactly what happens in a group, ideally, is we have these kinds of experiences where we think I can't handle it because I didn't have the experience of it being met well when I was younger. And then you're surprised. Oh, wow. The people in
Mhm.
this group, some of them can. Some of them can be with me, which makes it I can be in this space because they can. And then over time, the range of stuff that you can be in gets bigger, expands.
Yeah, well, I don't know if that's a good example though, because the state is being lost at a train station.
Well, so what would it be like if I was with you and we got lost at the train station?
Well, I'll just rely on you completely. But if,
Get
well, I guess it
irritated,
would, what?
and I would get irritated.
Yeah, yeah, and that's how we would do it. Like you would get irritated and fine, but we'll get to the place and then we'll like talk it out and it will be fine. But I think it would be different. I mean, a good example of it would be if you're with me, but I'm navigating, and that will be way less tolerable than being with you,
Because,
relying on you, and you're being irritated.
right. So, because if I'm relying on you and you're floundering, what? What's worse
It
about
will
that?
be embarrassing. I actually now remember that one of our very first dates when I came to visit you in New Jersey, we went to Central Park and we parked far away and I needed to use the bathroom. And you were really on it, and you found a restaurant that I could use the bathroom right away. And it was I remember that it was one of the moments that I was like, wow, this is so amazing. Like, you scored so many points. It relieved what would normally be so tasking on my brain and just emotional equilibrium.
Sweet. It's nice to hear. I was like saying to my brain, okay, now you think of an example of that with Kate, where, you really complement a weakness of mine. But I was sort of like poking my brain with a stick, but nothing. It was sort of like a Homer Simpson brain. It was like, leave me alone. I can't think of anything. Do you have a sense of where it's reversed? Where
That
you,
I'm on something
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah. What just came to my mind is if I can be overly trusting and naive and optimistic and it'll work out and it's fine and impulsive, and you're much better at well, hold on here. Let's think about this. I'm not sure actually what we've been talking about in a way in honoring what can't be thought or can't be said. My impulse to just assume things will be fine and your ability to say, let's really consider how it might not be fine, is
mm,
something that I felt very grateful for.
yeah.
What's it like hearing that?
Well, what?
What's it like hearing that?
I think you can do better.
Okay. All right. Do you have something specific in mind, or you just want me to flounder?
You don't have to. Like it's
Oh,
fine.
right, right. I don't have to. It's fine.
Yeah.
Somewhere someone should do a video about it's when your partner says it's fine.
I mean, I guess I know that you're biased to think that you can just do things by yourself. So I don't think that an example where you would say that's something that Kate takes on and then it's really helpful because it addresses like that sense of like relief. Okay, I can forward you the thing and you're better at it. So I know it will be better taken care of and I can just not worry about it. I think that feeling doesn't come up as like it doesn't register in your brain as much because you think that like you can do it pretty adequately yourself.
That's good. That's right. It's sort of like a trust fall is my image, that it's harder for me to acknowledge, oh, it's not just that I'm weak here and collaborating with you helps, but I am just useless in this category. And thank God I can rely on Kate for it. That level of dependence and surrender is harder for me. It's harder to think of where that would be.
Right, right. Not just the useless, but that I can do the thing better, and the better would be a substantial difference in the outcome. So yeah, I don't think that you have that awareness. So that's why I'm not surprised that you don't have the areas where it's happening.
I'm wanting to find the area where I can either I already am, but I don't know it. Probably that's the case, or can be more of just trusting and celebrating, grateful for you. Maybe hoping it will come to me. It'd be in a dream or something.
I appreciate it.
All right.
Let's end there.
Sure. I think this was really great.
What was great about it?
It was really satisfying to feel like we're progressing in our relationship while doing this and actually sharing things that are new for our each of us with each other. So that was very satisfying for me. And at the same time, I think we covered a lot of stuff that's very important and valuable to
Hmm.
people who are considering groups. So I thought this was, I don't know if I was going to say I'll watch this, but I'm not sure I actually would want to watch the whole thing. I'm very glad that you're taking up that part of this project
There you go.
because I suck at it and would just throw in the towel and be like, I can't do this because I can't be bothered to rewatch myself, edit, and yeah. So I mean, this whole project, thanks to you, and I'm so glad that you're doing
Great. We found a thing.
the first thing. We found what,
Well, we found a thing that Jacob can name.
exactly. We found one thing that I could name so far.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Jacob.
See you next time or
Bye.
sooner.